right, y'all, I don't know if I'll be able to get this done or not. I had done one of these a little earlier. I had felt that God wanted me to speak on it, and after I finished my series of 4 3-hour-long videos, I ended up saying, oh no, maybe it was just all in my head, but this really has been weighing on my heart for some time. And so I really do think that for some odd reason, God has decided that he wants me to share this. So I really do pray that it helps someone, that it impacts someone. Maybe it's just for me, I don't know, but I know when God tells me to do something, I don't like to say no. So anyway, for anyone who doesn't know me, my name is Jacqueline. Call me Jax for short, or Jackie. And I have been on the most amazing journey with the Lord of late. I'm telling you. I think you hit a certain age sometimes and you look around and you think, this isn't, there has got to be something more, this isn't it. Now mind you, I have been in church my whole life, and if there was one thing that my parents weren't going to have, it's their kids be lost. And I still smile when I think of the nights that I heard the Bible blasting in my room with the door closed from downstairs, or hearing my parents pray. It is such a cherished memory. It wasn't at the time. I was annoyed. I wanted to sleep. And I'd wake up and just kind of be like, oh, there you go again. But I can tell you right now, I know that those prayers sustained me through some very, very hard times. Times when I did not want to live anymore, and even attempted to not live anymore. So first and foremost, I'm so grateful for the parents that God gave me, because I know that I am truly blessed with the pair that I have. That being said, this journey actually has to do with my hair, and can't really see it very well right now or today. It's kind of in a somewhat shrunken state, but you know, it's growing, got some length going, it bounces back, and etc. And this has really been on my mind because growing up, the place that I grew up in, we were the only black family. And so everyone around us, first of all, I am apostolic Pentecostal, so in our faith, the women do not cut their hair. So this has been a whole journey for me. So being the only black family in our church, and my 2 best friends growing up, and I'm so grateful that I had them because they were so uplifting. One was Hispanic, and she had the most beautiful black, thick, it was coarse hair, and I loved it. She hated it, drove her bananas, and I just thought it was beautiful, and I would play with it for hours. And my other friend was white. She had really blonde hair, it was a bit finer, and just kind of shimmered. They're both their hair that shimmered and was just golden and black and gorgeous in the sun. And here was my hair. And I would always think, like, man, what I wouldn't give for your hair, what I wouldn't give for your hair. And they'd always say, your hair is so beautiful and your hair is so gorgeous, and I don't know why you don't like your hair so much. It's just amazing. Why don't you let it go in its natural state? It's amazing what it can do. And let me tell you, I didn't feel like it was amazing because, unfortunately, outside of my family, and again, I'm grateful I had a mother who did not speak down on our hair. And I know that not a lot of black people grow up in a home like that. It is a whole thing. But my mom always chose to speak life into her children, down to the nitty-gritty, down to our hair. She does not let us talk badly about ourselves at all. We can try, and she'll, not my child, not this daughter of the Lord. And we kind of roll our eyes, but it's true. God says we are fearfully and wonderfully made. When David was writing his psalm, he said, you formed me in the womb, like God's formed you. When God made man, he spoke everything else into existence. He said, let there be, let there be, let there be, let there be. But when it came to man, he formed with his own hands. He formed him. And that just took an extra level of love and care, in my opinion. I think that just shows just how much God spent that little extra time on the detail of, yeah, I can speak a human into being. Oh, absolutely. But I want to make in the day and age that we live in now, it is so easy to be torn down by anything and everything. So anyway, all that to be said, when I was growing up, I will say I didn't have a lot of hair trauma. Those hot combs, whew, they could be a bit rough, but I had beautiful hair. My hair was probably, I don't know, bra strap length or so, maybe a little longer, from the longest I remember when I was younger. And my mom would take care of our hair. And I remember always like laying on the countertop with my head in the sink and her doing my hair. She was not rough with our hair. There would be, our hair kinks and it coils. And so there would be times when it didn't feel great. But my mom did not yank and tear and all of this stuff. I don't remember any of that. I just remember having to hold my ears for the hot comb and be like, my hair stinks. Like, that was the most frustrating part. All my friends got to walk around with strawberries and cream and guava and mango and whatever, and my hair smelled like burnt popcorn. So oddly enough, I love burnt popcorn, so maybe it was a sign. That was actually my biggest hair trauma at that time, outside of the fact that people had an issue with my hair the way God decided to make it grow out of my head. So with mom taking care of our hair, it flourished, it was beautiful, it was gorgeous. And unfortunately, she got to a place with her health that it was too much for her. Mind you, my parents had 8 of us and 5 of us were girls, so that's already a lot. And so she just got to the point where it was too rough on her body to be able to do all that she used to do. And she tried. So I vaguely remember like the hair washing days would get a bit more fewer and further between. And quite frankly, in my opinion, and I look back on it now, some people will think like, why didn't she? You know what? My mom, in my opinion, was fighting for her very life. Okay. My mother has done more in a disabled state for us than I have seen some parents do for their children being fully healthy. I don't know. I do know it was the Lord that helped my mom, and a wonderful, amazing father that helped my mom do all that she was doing with full support. But there are limits. We have limits. And so I was very young. I think I was probably around 7 or 8, 6, 7 or 8. I could be wrong. She might correct me later. When she wasn't really able to do our hair. And so it kind of went from like my siblings, we kind of did each other's hair. But from what I can recall, I don't remember being explicitly taught per se how to do hair. In a way, like we washed her hair. I remember the hair getting washed. I don't remember the conditioning. I don't remember. She washed her hair and then she put the pink stuff on it. You know, everybody knows that pink bottle. And she would put the pressing cream and we'd use the hot comb. And it was a cast iron one that we stuck in the fire. We had a gas stove. We stuck it in the fire. And I remember we thought we were super bougie one day because they had one of those little electric ones, little electric heaters that you could stick the hot comb in. And then we advanced to like the electric hot comb. And we just were on top of the world. Like, yes, we have some semblance of, it gets up to 420 degrees because, black people's hair can just withstand all the heat. Black people can be in the pits of hell and our hair will not burn off, apparently. That was a story that was sold to us. And I remember all of that happening, but I didn't understand the actual structural care of how to take care of my hair. I was just too young. And, like I said, my mother was fighting for her very life. And this is in zero ways completely the opposite of any sort of criticism or anything of my mom, because let me tell you, I am blessed. I am blessed to have the mom that I have, and I'm gonna get teary-eyed here. So all of that being said, as that happened, there came some other like black women in our lives that taught us different things or showed us different things about our hair. And the first one was being extensions. And I remember we first did it on my sister's hair, the one right above me, and she had braids. They put like this little tiny braids and they went down to like her shoulder blades, maybe a little longer. And for the first time, we could just go out and our hair would just whip, right? Just like my friends, it could just whip, it would just fall, it would just hang, it would do all the things. And I was just like, oh, I can't wait. Well, I didn't know, but that was the beginning of the degradation of my scalp. So a lot of those synthetic braids, hairs, etc., have a lot of chemicals in them, and they can be very damaging to the scalp. And as I thought about it, that was the time when I began to have what I consider the itch. I don't ever remember my hair itching when my mother was doing her hair, when it was natural. And again, as another backstory, I have what you call virgin natural hair. It's never been permed. It's never had any chemical relaxer, anything like that at all. I know my older siblings, my mother would take them to get their hair permed. But again, a situation happened where the people doing the hair were furious because they wanted to trim their ends. And my mother explained that we don't cut our hair. And for what it seems, they damaged the hair on purpose. And I don't know that it's all ever recovered because my siblings' hair was down to and past their butt. So my hair's never gotten that long. So that was the day my mom said, I am not taking them to get a hair salon again. I will do it all myself and I'll figure it out. So my hair has never been permed. It's never been relaxed. It's never anything. It's been wash, condition, hot comb, pressing cream, and we would grease our scalp. Okay, we would grease our scalp. Now in Arizona, the greasing of the scalp could be a little bit rough because if we use too much grease, which as kids, when mom wasn't doing it, we might loop a little bit too much. So in the summer when it got hot, 110, 15 degrees, and we were pretty active and outside people, we had grease like dripping down our head and we were so embarrassed. And so when this other individual came in and taught us like how to put extensions in and all of that, she also showed us on like oiling the scalp using an oil. And we were like, oh, that's so much better. We're not having it drip down everywhere and this is so great and da-da-da-da. So for as long as I can remember until God showed me, like, you didn't have this issue until this happened. I never had any itchy scalp, any itchy hair, no nothing. And suddenly my scalp itched all the time. And it was just a constant, you know how you go, oh, this is just so itchy, and you don't want to scratch it because you don't want to mess up your braids. So it's pat, 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 pat. You get a broom or a spoon, pat, 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 fork. And then it would get to the point where I would literally have a fork and be just raking it on my scalp because it was just so painful. And my hair began to fall apart. Again, the individual that was showing us things, I do not, it was the latest and greatest and the newest and the frou-frouest, and I really don't think that this was meant to damage. We were all sad that we didn't have the long flowing hair that our friends did, and quite frankly people would talk down on us. And if we would wear our hair in our natural shrunken state, we would be accused of having cut our hair. And like, we didn't cut our hair. Well, why is it so short? Well, hard to see, but it springs back and forth. Our hair grows out of our head shrunken. And it was a whole thing. It was traumatic, and I began to hate my hair. I wanted long, flowing, amazing locks. Well, all I was doing was damaging my scalp, is what ended up happening. And this began me doing my hair. I'd wash it and condition it, and I don't know, I didn't condition it. I didn't understand. I washed my hair, and then I'd automatically oil my scalp, and within a day, I'm sitting here, you know. And then of course we were also taught the whole like black people's hair don't grow. My mother didn't say this, and that's a very interesting thing. It was other people that we would hear it from other people, like black people's hair can't grow. Well, since I was so young when my mom stopped being able to do her hair, and my siblings' hair was all short because we didn't really know what to do, I just assumed, yeah, that must be true. And like all my black friends all had, I'm not gonna lie, it was tore up short hair. And so I thought, yeah, that has to be true. Black people's hair doesn't grow. We were also taught that since our hair doesn't get greasy, right? So my friends, they would have greasy hair because their hair is straight. So the sebum would automatically flow down the scalp. Well, that didn't happen with our hair. Even when we straightened it, if you sweat at all, your roots are automatically getting a little bunchy. So ours, when you have curly hair, kinky hair, the sebum doesn't travel down as easily. So what I have recently now learned is that everybody has something, a yeast on their scalp called malassezia. And it actually feeds off of the sebum of our scalp, which, most white people, Asian people, Hispanic people, etc., they wash their hair a lot more. And their complaint is that my hair just gets so oily. It gets so oily. And they'd always say, well, you're so lucky that you don't have to wash your hair all the time and it doesn't get so oily and this and that and the other. And I didn't think anything of it. Well, yeah, not washing your hair for months upon months at a time, the Black community was lied to by our own peoples, okay? That is an absolute, complete, and utter fallacy. It is not good for your health. It is not good for the health of your scalp. None of this stuff at all. So I went through life just making mistake after mistake after mistake after mistake. Now, hilariously, I do remember once, like when I was oiling my scalp, and my mom was like, why are you using oil? And I was like, oh, it's the better thing to do, and da 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 da. And I remember she just kind of looked like, oh, okay, it's news to me. I always just I was taught grease was okay. And we were told, oh, grease is going to clog your follicles, and this. No, grease is non-comedogenic. It won't clog your follicles. Just all of these things of just, quite frankly, I think it was a movement of Black women and men, Black people, trying to get a texture of hair that isn't designed for us. Trying to do things that doesn't work for us, per se. And there's a level of trauma that goes with it. We have, the Crown Act that just passed, what is that, like 2019 when that act passed, and when we were brought over as slaves and no longer had access to the hair care that was back in Africa, when colonialism happened in Africa and things were changed and moved and this was acceptable, that wasn't acceptable, all that. I think we have a lot of history on how we care for our hair that was lost. And when I look back at old pictures, you would see that a lot of African women had very long hair, and it was braided in beautiful, intricate stylings. We might look at it as strange now, but the more intricate, the higher the hierarchy is how it was. Just a very interesting history of something that I've only recently learned in the last 2 years. So, all of this to be said, I just continued to destroy my hair without realizing it, being so frustrated with why nothing was working, why I couldn't have beautiful long flowing locks like my two best friends. And then I went through probably one of the most traumatic events of my life, and that lasted for a while. And when you are going through trauma, your body is prioritizing survival. It does not care about making extra keratin. It really doesn't care. So that was happening. So since I didn't know how to properly take care of my hair, it was constantly breaking off. And I would be so excited. I would see the little wavies come in of new growth. But my hair never seemed to grow. So I began praying the prayers of, God, can you just make my hair grow double? Can you make my hair grow faster? Can you make my hair grow as fast as white people? Because my hair doesn't grow as fast. And it didn't click that my hair was growing. And I honestly, sorry, my allergies are killing me. I honestly believe that God actually answered the prayer of making my hair grow faster. Because when I see now how my hair was treated, what I went through, how I took care of my hair, like, when I say how my hair was treated, I mean how I took care of my hair, or rather the lack of. I should be bald. I truly should have. I should be bald. And I think God sped up the growth of my hair so that I wouldn't be bald. And it got to a point where I was constantly flat ironing my hair almost every single day to keep it, silky and straight, and to be able to do all the things. And I learned how to do these amazing elaborate hairstyles. I really did. They were lots of fun. But as my hair got shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter, having never taken a pair of scissors to my hair, I couldn't do those hairstyles. There was a point where my hair was this long. It was like, this is how long my hair was. And at that time, as I was going through some of this, I remember I met my now husband, and he always was like, oh, you should. He would always hear me cry about my hair. He'd be like, well, why do you put heat on it all the time? It's like, my husband is white. He's like, I know I'm not black, but like, my uncle did hair. And if I recall right, I think he did everyone's hair. I think he did like black, white, Asian, whatever. If I recall, I could have that wrong. But he said like, doing too much heat on the hair, like it damages it and it breaks it, da da da. And I was like, you don't know what you're talking about. Who do you think you are? You don't know the trauma. You don't know the care. You don't blah, blah, blah. I mean, I just spouted off stuff that I didn't know and was like, I love you, but you are not black, so you have no idea, right? And he was like, okay. I just wanted to offer a suggestion. And then there was one day I had been hanging out at his house. He was working, and I had called him. I said, hey, let me know when you're on your way home, because I'm going to wash my hair at your house, so that way I can make sure I'm dressed by the time you get there, because we were only dating at the time. And so he had let me know, and I'd gotten dressed, and I was trying to do all the whatevers, and he came there to find me just bawling my eyes out in the bathroom, because my hair was so damaged, because I decided, oh, I'm gonna try to do something with it. Oh, I remember he finally convinced me to not use heat on my hair for 6 months. And it was a whole thing. And I was like, you better not have anything to say about how long it takes to do my hair, da 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 da, blah blah blah. He's like, I won't say a word. I won't say a word. If you have hair washing day and we can't go on a date or what, I won't say a word, I promise you. So I washed my hair, and my hair was just limp and straight, like I had no curls. It did not revert. It did not anything. It just looked like an absolutely disgusting limp mess. Like it did not look good. And I was just bawling my eyes out, because I was like, I've never had it where my hair didn't like curl back. I don't know what to do. And I just was bawling. And I just remember he was like, babe, he goes, just cut it off. And I was like, we don't cut our hair. We can't cut our hair. And he's like, I'm just saying that I would find you beautiful either way. I find you beautiful now. I don't know why you care. I was like, well, because before I met you, I had beautiful long hair, and now I don't, and I can't put my best self forward, and da 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 da. And I was just a mess. And I was like, and now I've destroyed my hair, and I can't cut it, and I don't know what to do, and I'm just destroyed. Like I truly was just absolutely heartbroken. But I'd committed to 6 months, and God placed a lovely, beautiful friend in my life. She's Jamaican. And I remember just kind of talking to her about it, and she looked at me and she goes, are you eating your berries? And I was like, what? She goes, yeah, whenever like we like have a perm gone wrong or something like that, like eat a ton of berries, and it helps. Like it'll help bring your hair back. And I was like, girl, are you sure this isn't some sort of... She's like, no. What is wrong with you Americans? Like, how do you not know this? And I was like, all right. So I went over, when I say I ate berries until Kingdom Come for a month, and I washed my hair again, and I had some curl back, and I was like, oh my gosh, it was more like wavy at the ends, and da da da. And also remember, I had a lot of breakage. I didn't realize I had breakage. So some of this was repaired, and I just know that God, I don't know, I think he let that damage, all of that like break off, and he just kept on giving me hair until I finally asked him how to take care of it, which was, I'm going to say like 2-3 years ago. So all of that coming to, I just vacillated back and forth. Still never I didn't use a heat protectant, because I didn't know that was needed for straightening your hair. I didn't realize that the pressing cream had heat protectant in it. So I didn't know about using a leave-in conditioner. I didn't really know about using a conditioner. I just shampooed, and boy, I really was not kind to my hair. I was not kind to the glory that God gave me. And so going through all of this, it got to a point where at the crown of my head, like right here, I started going bald. I had like a tiny little bald spot. It was like this big, then it got this big and this big, like, and then it literally got like this big, and then it just had like spider legs going out. Like when I say bald, I mean shiny bald. There was nothing there, and I was devastated. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know why this was happening. I kept on using all the oils that kept promising, that it would grow my hair 3 times the rate. I tried all the things, and it was just getting worse and worse and worse. And I was so ashamed of my hair. And so I told my husband, I said, I am going to wear wigs. I'm going to get a wig. I don't know what to do. I'm going to get a wig. I'm just going to braid my hair down and get a wig. And one thing for me is I have a tiny head. I've got a kid-size head, literally. And so big hair on me, I love. I love having big hair. It detracts from my little tiny face. And so when I got a wig, I know now it was more like a 3C, maybe 4A wig, and then I got an Afro wig. And I remember also getting like a straight wig that looked like my hair when I would straighten it. And it was like this long. I had a bit of wave in there, almost like it was just barely starting to revert. And they were synthetic. And they just had little clip things. So I would braid my hair, put the wig cap on, put the little clip things in, and there was that. I found that I didn't feel as comfortable in my straight wig. I felt a lot more comfortable in my super curly or Afro wigs. So that's what I ended up sticking to. As a matter of fact, I still have that wig. I tried it on the other day just to see, and I was like, no, I don't like it. I don't like it. And so, again, so grateful that my mom and my dad, like, they never spoke negatively to us about the hair that God gave us, even when we were acting wild about it. And so that's what I did for the longest time. I'd wear a wig, but again, I wasn't washing my hair consistently. And when I did, I would wash it, braid it up. I didn't condition, no leave-in condition, no nothing. I would put the oils on my scalp, and again, it was just a constant, and my husband would be like, didn't you just wash your hair yesterday? And I was like, yes, I don't know what the deal is, da 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 da. And eventually, I had used it was Miel, and I'm not trying to put them down at all. I'm realizing kind of what happened, and everyone is different, but they had this rosemary oil and rosemary is supposed to be so good for your hair growth and scalp and stop shed and da da da. And I would use it on my scalp, and it would burn. It burned so bad. And I was like, oh yeah, we're getting some circulation. No, it made the issue worse. It made my hair crunchy, and literally snap off. And I remember just kind of being like, God, this is so unfair. You said our hair is our glory, and this is not glorious. This is not a crown. This is awfulness, and I hate it, and I wish I could have some sort of minor accident that would cause all my hair to fall out, and I'd have nothing, and I could start all over, because I don't know, like, I would pray that. I would literally pray that. And I remember just something coming across the feed as I began to watch more hair videos, and it was a thing on Miel about how it caused people's hair to fall out and this and that and the other, and I was all upset, and I was like, you know what, I'm tired of using these oils that don't do anything. I'm just not going to use these oils on my scalp anymore. So I'd wash my hair at wildly inconsistent times. I was slowly getting better. Wildly inconsistent times, and just braid my hair and go on about my business, and just wear the wig. Take it off when I got home, just have my hair in braids, put it on. And my husband, he's amazing. He loves my hair in its natural state. He absolutely loves it. He loves when I do different things with it. He just has such a true love for my hair, and I'm so grateful that I'm with someone who does, and who just supported me through all of my trials and tribulations and cryings and tears and etc. And so what ended up happening is, I'd say a year and a half ago, if I recall that correctly, I had ended up having clients, a week of clients who I had to do a lot more intricate massage work with my fingers, and my fingers were in pain and cramping. And that's unusual. Typically I don't, because I don't have to do intricate work like back to back, and I'm very careful. And I had gotten to the point where my head, I was like, I need to wash my hair, I need to wash my hair, I need to wash my hair, and I couldn't do it. If I made a fist, like, my hands would cramp and ball up, and it was absolutely awful. And so I said, I'm gonna have to find someone. I just want to find someone who can wash it, and I'll deal with whatever. And I found somebody. I called around, and they always automatically asked for whether I wanted a trim. And these are black hair salons, because we were always told, don't go to white hair salons. And my one experience, like, they tried to use a bristle brush to comb out my hair when it was, and I was like, you are so sweet. And I taught her, but I thought, yeah, I'm struggling with my own self. I'd rather go to someone who knows hair, right? So I'm calling around, and they said, oh, well, what about a trim? And I said, I don't cut my hair. And they're like, so you've never cut it? It's like, I've never cut my hair in my life. And they had a whole entire attitude. And I thought, I am not letting you touch my hair. I'm not letting somebody burn off my hair. No, I don't know what you're going to do, but no, I don't trust my hair in your hands. Barely trust my hair in my own hands. I'm not putting it in yours. And I ended up finding someone that ended up being like 3 minutes away from my work. It was awesome. And I was asking, how much does it cost for this? This is the reason why. She goes, well, let's see how long your hair is, whatever. I don't know how it all worked. And then she asked about a trim, and I just said, I don't cut my hair. In our religion, the women don't cut their hair. And she was like, oh, absolutely, okay, I will make sure to make a special note of that. She was like, have you ever cut your hair? Is this new to you? Or like, this has been your whole life? And I was like, this has been my whole life. And she goes, okay, I'll be as gentle as I can. I don't believe in being rude about people's hair, like yanking it or anything. But it might be a bit tangly. I'll do my best. But if it hurts a little bit, I'm so sorry. But I'll absolutely do my best, and I'll fully respect like your decision that you don't cut your hair. I respect people's vows to the Lord. And I was like, oh my gosh. Okay, I'm there. So I went there, and she washed my hair. Oh, it felt amazing to have someone else washing my hair and etc. And when the comb out process happened, it was hard for me because I typically would use like creams or something in my hair, like shea butter. I was on a shea butter kick, and that would help a whole lot. Shea butter, coconut oil. And so when she got done, she blow dried my hair because I had to go to church right after. And when I got there, I was like, oh, my hair just feels kind of dry and crunchy. Not anything wrong that she did, to be clear. This is like, my hair is damaged in the worst way. It had been dehydrated for all of its life after my mom stopped doing my hair and I started taking care of it. So not all of its life. Probably all of its life that was on my head, not the hair that my mom did. And so she didn't do anything wrong. She actually did a great job. But it was the first time actually like feeling, because I was constantly adding stuff to my hair. So I was like, oh, well, I'm going to spritz it down a little bit, add a little coconut oil, and then I'll re-blow dry it. And as I did it, I realized that not only was I no longer bald, but my hair was about like this long in that area. And the outer parts were actually the length of the rest of my hair. I was flabbergasted. I had no idea how that happened. I just said, I'm braiding my hair. I'm leaving it alone. I'll wash it whenever I wash it. I'll put the wig on. I'm not putting oils on it anymore. I'm going to just use like the shea butter and moved on. So I sent the picture to my husband, and he was like, so you're not going to wear wigs anymore, right? And I was like, what? And he goes, yeah, God answered your prayer. You should just like wear your hair. And I was so irritated. I was like, are you kidding me? And finally, And he was like, babe, I just really, like, I miss your hair. Your hair is so beautiful. And it's under a wig. What's the point of asking God to grow your hair if you're just going to hide it all the time? And I was like, okay. I said, but I don't know how to do it. So don't you dare get mad at me, And he's like, I won't, I'll let you figure it out. So that was when I actually sat down and I was like, God, you said that our hair is our glory, that this is our crown, and this is not a crown. I don't know what to do with this hair. And I don't want to be nasty or mean about it because this is the hair that you gave me. So clearly you think that this is good, but I don't. And I need your help because I'm tired of feeling this way. I'm tired of having lived, like I remember when my hair was so nice and it's not anymore, and I'm so ashamed, and I'm tired of dealing with this shame. And I was so heartfelt. And I just know in my heart that God was like, finally, at last. And can I tell you, the things that began popping up on my YouTube and all my algorithms and everything, that God showed me how to take care of my hair. He led me into how to take care of my hair. And so one of the biggest things that I learned is about the malacesia and how regular oils on our scalp will actually feed that. Now, your diet can make a big difference. Like if you actually eat good stuff, it can lower that fungal activity. Everybody has it. Everyone has it. Everybody has it. This is not, but our diets aren't so great. And to be fair, I think I probably would have been worse if I didn't have the diet that I had at that time. I've got to do better now. I ate a lot healthier back then, and I struggle to think where I would have been. God really keeps you when you don't know how to keep yourself, and you look back and he shows you things and you're like, whoa, oh my gosh. Because really, with the contact dermatitis, with the like mega extra fungal activity, the malassezia, all of this stuff, I really should be bald. These hair follicles should be dead, and God kept them. He kept them. He preserved them. If they died, he brought them alive. Like, I'm telling you, God was so much more faithful than I realized until coming out on the other side. And so I began learning all this stuff, and I began learning like that you need to condition your hair. Like, you need to condition you need to deep condition your hair. You need to put a leave-in conditioner on your hair. You need to work on the tension and the weight of added hair and all this. So I learned that, one, I'm allergic to synthetic hair. My scalp doesn't like it. I get contact dermatitis. And it's terrible. It's even washing it and letting it sit in vinegar, it helps, but my hair doesn't like it. My hair is extra sensitive to malassezia. So I can't use, first I was like, well, I'll stop using anything on my scalp, right? Because I can use shea butter on my skin, on like my arms, but I couldn't use it on my scalp. And so I was like, okay, well, I wash my body a lot more than I wash my scalp. So malassezia, typically day 3 is when it really gets to going after you cleanse your scalp. Oh, another thing, learning how to cleanse my scalp. I would always wash the hair. I didn't focus as much on the scalp. I didn't know about clarifying shampoos. So I'd add all sorts of product. I never knew what my hair actually felt like because I'd never gone to ground zero with the clarification. And so all of these things that I began to learn. And so I found out that certain shampoos caused me issues, caused a bunch of extra itch. I had to go through all of my things and purge my hair things, my hair oils, my hair everything. And so I began to learn, and my hair began to cooperate. And I laugh because it's not so much that my hair began to cooperate, I began to learn the language of my hair. And let me just tell you, ask God to teach you the language of your hair. Ask God to teach you the language of your body. Ask God to teach you the language of your mind. He will lead you to resources. He will send people to give you a word. He will educate you. The Spirit, it says the Spirit leads and guides you into all things. All things. We just have to ask. And I think a lot of the things is we ask, but we ask amiss. You know, I was just saying, oh God, grow my hair, grow my hair, grow my hair, grow my hair. He was. But I didn't know how to take care of the hair that he was making grow, that he was continuing to grow when I should have been bald. And so when I asked the right question, when I said, God, can you teach me what I need to do with my hair? That's when things began to change. And I did. I took the wig off. It was rough. I did not like seeing my face. I didn't like seeing how short, like it was still short. And I have a really good friend at my church now who, I remember her making a comment like, I'm so proud of you, like without the wigs. I know it can be hard. Like when you get like, what is it? Like face dysmorphia. Like you're so used to that. And it can be rough, like when you're not used to seeing your face and like going out in public like that. It can feel really weird. And I was like, yeah, that's so true. Because I'm telling you, I felt hideous. I've never had a high self-esteem. It's always been very low. My mother has always said good things about me, and I was like, well, you're my mom, you have to. That's not true. My mother will always tell me the truth. But I've been told many times that I wasn't very pretty and all sorts of things. So I've always had a very low self-esteem. In the comments, I would really love that nobody comment on that whatsoever. I'm not fishing for compliments or anything. I am what God made me to be, and I've accepted that. I'm just saying that that is how it was. But I really don't like when people hear something like that and go, oh no, you're gorgeous, oh you're da-da-da-da. Sorry, not something that I can handle. It's fine if you think that, thank you, but not anything I can handle. So I'd rather not. If this reaches anyone and someone feels the need, please don't. Maybe you don't think I'm pretty. I'm okay with that too. So going through all of this, I lost track. Sorry, with my little caveat. Let me walk myself back. Oh yeah, so the dysmorphia. So I had to learn, and just, you know, my hair was super short, and like learning the techniques, Denman brushes. I found that the best brush for me is a tangle teaser. I found that I am so sensitive to products. I can't use shea butter even on my hair, because if I put it up in a ponytail or anything and it touches my scalp, the itch automatically begins. So I was like, shoot, I really like shea butter. My hair likes it. My scalp doesn't like it. So I began to look and see, is there any sort of Malassezia safe something that I can use on my scalp? Well, come to find out, hair grease. Who would have thought that the thing that my mother had been using on my hair since I was a child, that I never had any itchiness with, would be safe for Malassezia? So Malassezia feeds on chains like 12 through 22 or something, fatty acid chains 12 through 22. So there are 4, so petrolatum or grease, which is petrolatum based, evening primrose oil, MCT oil chains 8 through 10, and squalane oil, not squalene, squalane, SQUALANE oil. They are all outside of the fatty acid chain that Malassezia feeds on. So, being the DIYer that I am, I made myself a hair grease with MCT oil and petrolatum is what I use. So I made my own hair grease. And oh my gosh, that works for me. So I found that a lot of leave-in conditioners and everything like that, they tend to have some sort of olive oil or coconut oil or something like that. So the leave-in conditioners would slightly cause itch as well. So I began using less, putting it at my ends. But I found now that I can use my leave-in conditioner with the brand that works for me. It's a Shea Moisturous line, works well for me. It doesn't cause me issues. They're moisturizing. There's like 3 different ones that I can use that don't cause me like scalp itch. And all the other like bougie brand name whatever's that I wanted to use, I just couldn't. It irritated my scalp. I'd wash my hair and instantly feel itching and burning. And then I'd rinse it out. If I didn't rinse it out well enough, or I used that leave-in conditioner or whatever, it would just cause extra itching and burning. I tried the apple cider vinegar water rinse route, and that would help. But again, I was using that line, and whatever was in it didn't work for me. There was an app that God led me to. It's called Yuka, Y-U-K-A, and you can scan different products, chapsticks, lipsticks, makeups. I don't wear makeup, but people do. Hair products, like all of these things that you use on your body, and it'll rate like from 0 to 100. 100 is good and it'll be green, and 0 is bad and it'll be in the red. So it's like green is the best, yellow is like okay, and then orange is like and then red is like so I found that the higher on the Yuka scale, I just call it the Yuka scale, that it is, the less my body seems to have issues. So I scan now all of my like hair products, lotion products, or whatever with the Yuka app, and I found that my overall health has gotten better because I'm apparently a bit more sensitive to certain things. So there we have it. It gives really great explanation. So I found that the Shea Moisturous line was good. The ones that I used was high on the Yuka scale, I believe in the 80s and the 90s, and I can use that. So it's like, okay, this is the line that I'll use, and if something else comes along that's better, we'll see. So the leave-in conditioner though does have some other oils in it. So when I wash my hair and I go to set it up for the week, I will wash it, and then this is a new one for me. I've got a hair tea, an Ayurvedic hair tea that I made, some herbs, and I made a tea, and I spray that, and oh my gosh, it's amazing. My scalp can start to feel itchy, and I can just spray my scalp with the water and massage it in. if it's been like 3 or 4 days. So I will say my hair prefers being washed twice a week. I don't have time for twice a week. It's once a week right now for me. So midweek it can start, the malassezia can start to be active, as it does just period. And so, man, sorry, I'm just really itchy. My nose for my allergies. Out here I have allergies. I didn't in Arizona. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so about day 3, day 4 is when I start to feel like, oh, okay. So I can spray my scalp with that and just give it a little bit of a massage and it calms it down. Oh, it feels awesome. And so I've got that. I've got my own hair grease. So when I use the leave-in conditioner, I can coat it with the hair grease. And that creates a bit of a barrier between the leave-in and my scalp. And so it's even less itch. And I'm just so grateful and joyful. So my hair now has grown majorly. It is, I believe, about or just under bra strap length. I can just pull and stretch because I don't use a lot of heat on my hair. And I'm really proud of myself. This is only 46 minutes so far. The last one ended up being over 3 hours. So I don't know if I've gotten through all the things that I meant to say, but all of this to say, I used to think that there was something inherently wrong with me, that I was inherently flawed with the hair that I had and the things that people have said over me, people have said over my hair. I had given up hope because it's like, you know what, I can't cut my hair. I don't want to say I can't cut my hair. I choose not to cut my hair. This is the covenant that I made with God. So since I don't cut my hair, I've chosen not to cut my hair. And I thought, you know, everything that I had looked up, everyone was always talking about, you know, we're just going to do a big chop and start over. And I would be so jealous. Like, God, can't I just have some sort of accident? Like a fire that doesn't injure me but somehow singes off all my hair. Like something, I don't know. I would fantasize about near fatal accidents that didn't actually injure me but just caused me to go bald and start over. It's goofy. And sometimes I think God just looks down on heaven and goes, my child. My child. If Johnny had 5 apples, you know, but he's taught me, like he taught me so much. And I look like God literally heard my request and taught me how to take care of my hair. He taught me the language of my hair. I can put something in my hair and go, oh, my hair doesn't like that. I'm not going to do that again. Like I learned that some people, so I do a pre-shampoo. Some people will use a conditioner to pre-shampoo. My hair doesn't like that. I do a hot oil treatment pre-shampoo. And, fun fact, caffeine, I was using coffee before, but caffeine isn't oil soluble. So I think that was just God feeding into my delusions. But coffee essential oil does carry caffeine. So I would look at like caffeine serums and oh my gosh, they're very expensive. And I was like, no, I can do this at home. Well, coffee essential oil, and I make a batch of oil. I oil my scalp and I put oil on my hair strands, give myself a nice hot oil treatment, deal with a little extra itch. But it's a soothing oil as well. I use only MCT oil or squalane oil. Those are the only oils I use on my hair. Except for in my pre-shampoo. I'm sorry, I just buy a cheap oil then because I'm washing it out within an hour. So I'll do that, and it's a good mix. Like it's healthy for my hair. So I'll do that, put some caffeine in it, and I will feel scalp stimulation. And caffeine will sit in your hair follicles for up to 3 days, and it will lengthen your growth phase, awaken the ones from their sleep phase, and yeah, so I think that's also, God has just led me and shown me like all of these things. So before I was only focused on length. I just wanted long hair, long hair, long hair, long hair, long hair. And I still do. What I would love, I told God, I said, I want my hair to be down to my tailbone, like the coccyx. That's how long I want my hair to be when it's straightened. If I straighten it, that's how long I want it to be. If I don't straighten it, it's going to be much shorter. So I'm cool with that. And so that is my ultimate overall goal. But in the process, God taught me the beauty of what he's given me. And I learned history on my ancestors and my people and why our hair is the way it is and how it functions. And it's just amazing. And so I decided that I would give my hair a name. And so in my ancestry, I've got Yoruba and Igbo, Nigerian. I don't speak Yoruba, but African people are amazing when they give names. They always have a meaning. And they did the same thing in the Bible. In the Hebrew children, like the names always had a meaning. And so I named my hair, and I might get this wrong because I heard two different how it sounds. And again, so if anybody out here, you know Yoruba, and I said it wrong, feel free to correct me. I will correct myself. But it's either Ogomide or Agamide. And what that means is my glory has come. And has the length, my ultimate length come? No, it has not. But as God has taught me how to truly love my hair, I have found that the length has come just because I loved on my hair. Before I would be like, this is stupid hair, I hate this hair, I'll just deal with this hair. Like, I had nothing but bad things to say about it. And God told me, he's like, you need to start speaking life to your hair. You need to start speaking life. And so I began to, and I still do. I wash my hair, and it is, oh my gosh, you are so beautiful. God, I thank you for this amazing hair that you've given me. It is beautifully and wonderfully made. You formed this in my womb, in my mother's womb. This is the hair. When you fashioned me, you said, this is the hair that I'm going to give you, and you called it good. Thank you for giving me my glory. Thank you. I speak so loving. And when I do something wrong, I say, oh, Ogamita, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Let me love on you. So I didn't take care of you very well. I did not treat you like my glory. So let me work on that. Let me correct that. We have really got to stop speaking down on the things. Can you imagine if you went to an art expose and you saw this person's art and they gave it to you, right? You didn't have to pay for it. They said, this is yours. This is for you. And you spent the whole entire time complaining about it. And let's say your best friends, your close friends, let's say it's your spouse, let's say it's your best friend, let's say it's your parent, let's say it's whatever, and you were in constant relation with them, and other things about your relationship are great, but you are constantly saying, oh, why did it have to be this color? Why can't it be the color of that one over there? Oh, how come it has to have this shape? Why can't it be long and narrow like that one? Can you imagine the pain that you would cause that artist? And then later on, I love you so much. Oh, you're so amazing. Oh, you make the most beautiful things. You're so awesome. But all you ever do is speak down on the thing that they gave you, that they fashioned with you in mind. They thought, I'm making this specifically for them. This is special, and they are precious, and this is what I'm making to them. We do that to God. He literally handmade us and said, this is good. And we find all the things wrong with us and complain about it all the time. And I've had to learn. My self-esteem still isn't the best. It's not. But what I began to say to myself is, you know what? Maybe I don't like what I see in the mirror, but my Father in heaven, he thinks it's absolutely beautiful. And how dare I not take care of it? And it's taught me a whole, taking better care of my skin, taking better care. I've had to taking better care of my health. This translates into so many ways. God doesn't want to just see his stuff mistreated by anyone, not even yourself. He doesn't even want you to mistreat yourself. He doesn't want anybody else to mistreat you. And we do that sometimes. And truly, through teaching me about my hair, my crown that I love, I'm so grateful. I'll look at my hair now sometimes and be like, how did I ever think that this was ugly? Where in the world did I get the idea that this was ugly. It's beautiful. It's amazing. I ran across a content creator, and I'm so sorry, I don't know your name at all. It was just a blip that came up in somebody else's video that had a bunch of blips. And she said something like, everyone always wants to talk about the shrinkage, like, oh, our hair shrinks. She goes, no, our hair doesn't shrink. Why do we call it shrinkage? It's the stretching. Our hair stretches. Our hair grows shrunken. And then it stretches. That's what happens. And this is in a partially stretched state right now. Like, I had my hair twisted up to keep it partially stretched before I did this hairstyle. And I sat and I thought about that, and it made me think about like seeds, how they come so small and they grow the most beautiful trees, like ginormous trees and flowers, all from one teensy tiny seed. I think about all these things that come in tiny packages, like babies, and all of this, and you've got this great potential that it grows up into. And I thought, this is the hair that God gave me. God gave me hair that looks like this, right? It grows really small. It grows shrunken. And then I can go like this, and it stretches, and I've got this beautiful potential of being able to do anything. I can keep it small. I can hide it. I can keep it really small, or I can say, I'm going to let you out in all of your glory. And like, it truly, I sat and I thought about that, and I was like, wow. Despise not the day of small things. Just wow. Just absolutely wow. I wanted to start this because what really hit me is that, again, I was coming on so much content where everyone was doing big chops, start all over. You can only take care of your hair if you trim it constantly, this and that and the other. And I really couldn't find anything for me. And I remember telling my husband, I said, I would love to do a channel one day for Black Apostolic Pentecostal women, or Black women who don't cut their hair. Maybe not even Apostolic Pentecostal, just people who have made the covenant with the Lord that they're not going to cut their hair. And maybe like how to care for their hair naturally, how to work with it, how to anything, because I said, I can't find anything. I think I found 2 people that don't cut their hair for various, like, they've done it and they decided not to for like random various reasons. But I have, and if someone has let me know, I'd love to follow them. I've never found someone who does like content per se, who says, I've chosen not to cut my hair ever because this is my covenant with the Lord, and this is how I take care of it. This is what I do. This is what you can do. Here's from start to finish. Here's some education. Here's da-da-da. I've never seen it. So, and I've looked. I'm not the best researcher though, so it could all be me. But I really felt like God was like, I want you to share this. People need to see this. Like, I care and I will answer. And this is just part of a testimony of like a range of bigger things that when I stopped asking God for, like, you can be very specific with the Lord. You absolutely can. And some things you should be incredibly, extremely specific. But in other things, you really should just say, God, what is it that you want? And can you teach me what you want from me in this? Can you teach me how to work with this? Because I don't know how to work with it. And the things that I've been doing hasn't been working. So I know that you love me. I know that you care about me. The very hairs of my head are numbered. And, you know, hair falls out every day. And he keeps track of that for like everyone in the whole entire world, which is just wild. Like, he cares that much. Talk to the Lord and maybe broaden what you're wanting. Because when he shows you how to work with the beauty of what he gave you, how to work with the tools that he gave you, we are lively stones. He shows us our own individual beauty and how it can work in his kingdom and how to apply that to different areas of our lives. And that to me is just the most beautiful, precious thing ever. Anyway, this is going to be just over an hour. Again, so proud of myself because boy, oh boy, that other one, it was really long. It was really, really long, and it was months ago. I don't even know if I have it anymore. I don't know if this will help anyone. I don't know if this will touch anyone. Maybe it was just me needing to get this out and speak it out loud and realize it within myself. But I am so grateful with what the Lord has done for me in this. And maybe at some point in time, I will actually take the time to upload different things here and there and be able to, you know, help others maybe who don't know, maybe help them learn and discover and etc. But God bless you all. Anyone who's taken the time to watch this, listen to this, thank you so much. And I pray that it helps and blesses you. Talk to the Lord. He really, truly does care about us. He finds us precious. And so just don't forget that. Don't forget that. All right. Have a great day, everyone. Thank you.